All right, welcome everybody to our fourth and final community tournament live stream of 2021. So we have a great matchup here for you guys today. My name is Will Anderson. I'm going to be your host and commentator for this matchup. And if you've seen these community tournament live streams before, at least one of our two contestants today will not be a surprise to you, and that is Lindsay Shin, the winner of our second event in this series. And today she's going to be going up against a very formidable opponent in his own right, Rahn McKeown. These are two players who have competed frequently in over the board Scrabble events. Really, really experienced, great players. And let's take a look at their road to the finals here. You can see in the bracket, Ron and Lindsay each having to beat a number of really skilled players to get here. But perhaps the most interesting part of this bracket is that Ron had to defeat Lindsay's husband, Austin, to get into the final. So maybe a little extra motivation for Lindsay here today to take Ron down. Not sure. So let's just get a look after we look over this bracket. What are the players playing for today? So you can see, similarly to the previous events in this series, up for grabs is this beautiful Scrabble GO Tournament Champion tile. Now, of course, Lindsay being a previous champion, she will get her pick of other tiles, or maybe she can bequeath this tile to Austin. I'm not sure what our policy is yet. But of course, other great prizes up for grabs here, including lots of months of the Scrabble Club subscription, tons of gems and tickets, and our semifinalists still got really nice prizes. So if ever you've been thinking to yourself, hey, maybe I should compete in some of these community tournaments, lots of great prizes up for grabs. And this broadcast, for the first time, if you're watching along on Facebook, just want to let you guys know that this broadcast reflects the first one that we are simulcasting as well to our new Twitch channel, which we really encourage you guys to head on over to twitch.tv/playscrabble. Give it a follow because there's going to be tons more great Scrabble content coming to you very soon at this channel. So continue to look for events like this on the Facebook page, of course, but Twitch as well is going to be jam-packed with great Scrabble content coming soon. So without further ado, I think the players are ready, as you can see. And Lindsay, feel free to start the game. And again, it's going to be a best of three finals between the players. I'm going to mute myself on the Zoom call so that these guys can't hear my commentary. And I think we are ready to go. And we're just going to start the clock here for Lindsay as she's considering her first move. So you can see a ton of vowels. We're going to pause the clock while Ron gets the game in his as soon as Lindsay, I think it's going to show up shortly for Ron. Maybe he has to refresh. We'll have the clock paused for a minute. Hopefully he gets that game in his tray momentarily. So we can see that Lindsay, with all of those vowels, it looks like he's going to refresh. There it is. Okay, so we can see Ron has his game there. And he will accept the request, and let's start his clock now. So again, this is a best of three match, and Lindsay going first in game one. Ron will go first in game two, and whoever wins their game by more in the event of a split will go first in game three. So that's how we're doing this, but it is going to be first to two wins will win the match and all the prizes. So Ron, very quickly, realizing with those two R's and two O's, he's decided to work through those duplicate tiles there. And that makes some sense to me. Whenever you have two of the same letter on your rack, great idea to burn through at least one of those duplicate tiles to give yourself that better flexibility for the future. Seeing on Twitch, Lindsay seeks vengeance from M. Angrasani. Nice to see you, of course. And Azima says, good luck. Looking forward to seeing the match. Thank you very much for being here to watch along. So, yeah, definitely. Let's see. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing Facebook chat in my widget. So I'm going to try to make sure that I can respond to everybody in Facebook chat too. So Lindsay having a good think here. She's got a blank, 2 eyes, and a Z. Is anybody seeing anything good for her? She has at least one play that I can see that looks really, really solid. And it requires kind of an interesting hook. Let me just make sure that I have you guys up on Facebook too, so I can see everybody's chatting momentarily. Okay. I have to make sure I mute myself, of course. Oh, lots of comments on Facebook here. So yeah, just to respond to the comments on Facebook. Oh, it looks like Lindsay is going to exchange. So she has one play that I see that would definitely be worth playing. It's interesting. That is, sorry, let me mute myself here on my other computer. So just to give you guys some context of why would you exchange the Z on any move, right? And the reason why is, as good of a scoring tile as the Z can be, it's not that good of a bingo tile. And Lindsay, with that blank and now S, or she had that S previously, with those tiles in hand, the Z actually sort of hurts her chances of getting that 7-letter bingo down. And you can see she has heinies set up here. So she is for sure going to be able to bingo. And actually, you can see now, back over to Lindsay, you can see that Rahn also has a bingo on his rack. So there's going to be some serious fireworks here in a hurry. So hold on a second. I just need to make sure that for some reason, stand by. Let me just see why it doesn't show the board here. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Hold on just a minute. There we go. Okay, I fixed it. Sorry, I really wanted to give both views of the players, and I fixed the issue, so now you guys should be able to see both players using the board as a workspace. Okay, so Lindsay striking first. Again, kind of surprising to see the Z be exchanged, but again, that really helped her. And, oh, it looks like Ron just plays off. He had the word toffees on his rack there, but instead off for 37. That scores really, really well. And I realize the clocks, I'm a little bit slow on those, but we're going to get back to it shortly. And I'm just going to quickly unmute my mic and just encourage Lindsay to go down to the lower left corner and turn off camera zoom if possible. In that lower left, the 3 straight lines right there. Oh, it was off. Okay, sorry. Who has it on then? Thank you very much. Yeah, you guys are both good. I have no idea what I saw there that caused that. All right, thanks, guys. So, okay, let's get to some of the Facebook comments here. Hey everybody, hello to Karen, Sarah, Deborah, Lillian says hi from Wales, Suza says all the best to Lindsay. I'm sure Lindsay has no shortage of fans. Thank you very much to Wei Bin, appreciate the good wishes. Lots of folks. Michelle McKeown also rooting Ron along here. and Martine and Genuine. Thank you guys for watching. So, okay, so Lindsay's striking first. Looks like she's going to play Doug on top of Sheenier for a good number of points, and we'll go back over to Ron's side. And so still very close game in the early going. Just take note, too, that even though Lindsay has one bingo to just one bingo to 0 for Ron, the score is still quite close because Ron's been able to score very well with his V. He's had his 2 Fs. So it's kind of a tale of 2 approaches here so far. Looks like, okay, there we go. So Ron's, cannot see the time. I wonder why. I think oops. So yeah, the players definitely need to be able to see the time. I'm not 100% sure why. Stand by, players. Okay. Let me try to fix this. So we have this here. The Zoom call, where did it go? There we go. Okay, maybe it's my video. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, players. I think I fixed it now. All right. Stand by, everybody. Just troubleshooting. We're going to get this squared away for the players. All right. There we go. So Ron playing just LUM there. And trying to get rid of that U and M in an attempt to get a bingo down. Ooh, and he has a bingo that I do expect him to see. All right, let's run Ron's clock a little bit because I was trying to fix the issue with them seeing the clocks. Lindsay's already a few minutes down. That's not her fault. Okay. So Hermelinda says, wow, MHO is a word. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a unit of something. I know there's some kind of energy or conductivity or something like that. Does anybody know what a mo is a unit of? They can help me out in the chat. Feel free. Okay, so Lindsay just playing off one of her eyes, which makes a lot of sense. And hold on, why is this not working? Not letting. Oh, okay. It is showing Ron using the board. Okay, great. So, you can see Ron is getting ready to get his first bingo of the game down. Evenist. He's using the E hook on PI on the board, and he's going to get 75 nice points right there. That's going to give him the lead, and a pretty solid sized lead. Going back to Lindsay, though, she makes a face. She doesn't like to see that bingo go down for Ron. She has very good bingo tiles of her own, but she just tried playing Celier on her board here before Evenist and discovered it wasn't valid here. So she's going to play off a couple more letters, keep that S on the rack, and sure enough, she makes a really nice play. I actually also have the ability to sort of telestrate for you guys too. So eel on the board, the nice thing about it is it creates 2 different spots for her S that are going to be very difficult to block. So if Lindsay managed to draw a bingo ending in S, it would be much likelier to play. But instead, it looks like she didn't manage to draw one, and Ron managed to draw the second blank. So that is going to be a big draw for him. Always love to see that blank. Players at this level almost always use that blank as a way to play all 7 of their letters and get those 50 extra bonus points. Mo is the unit of conductivity, if that's a word. Yes. Thank you, guys. And hello to Ryan, says watching from the USA. Thank you very much, Jennifer, for that tip. And to Fanny on Twitch, a great leave and a 37-point play. That was referring to off. Yeah, not too shabby. McKeown, he's playing like he wants those gems. He for sure does. And I think he probably wants that nice tile, too. I certainly would. That very snazzy tile that goes to the winner of this contest. So Ron is having a think here. He's got that blank. He also has the W and the Y. Those are two letters that are among the weakest to play bingos in the game of Scrabble. That's kind of why a lot of those tiles in Scrabble are worth more points. They're more difficult to use in bingos, and you don't see them in as many words in general. So the W and the Y get that score boost, but they're going to make it very difficult for Ron to use all of his letters here. But again, he's the one that has the lead. So he doesn't have to worry quite as much about playing all his letters and getting a bingo. He needs to be thinking about, how can I stop Lindsay from making a comeback in this game? So this is a really, really open board. There's a lot of openness. What do I mean by that? It just means that there is a lot of scoring opportunity here. There's possibilities of playing bingos here, playing bingos and good scoring plays underlapping eel. Don't forget also, there's an A hook just sitting here with alum, or maybe even glum or plum. There's many other hooks that can go here. So no shortage of options to score quite well. And Ron, after thinking a bit, I think he's probably thinking hard. Do I have a bingo here? And I'm not seeing it. Not one that plays for him here. So I think he'll resign himself to making a scoring play. I wonder if he's going to play Whaley right here, Wally, which would be quite a nice scoring play for him. The only issue is that he would be opening a triple lane as well. So let's see what he elects to do. He does have the lead. So the idea of opening the board unnecessarily is going to give him pause. Oh, and it looks like he's decided on yellow for 32. That's a nice way to get rid of both the Y and the W. So maybe he'll get some, ooh, wow. You can see he got a lot of low point letters, but they're all vowels and the Q. That's a terrible, terrible draw for Ron as he looks to bingo with that second blank. So over we go, back to Lindsay. She has to be happy to see yellow hit the board just because the S now is incredibly powerful. If she's able to draw a bingo in this spot, it's going to hit amazingly hard on the triple word score, and it's going to score a bunch more points from all of these high point letters there. So Lindsay is definitely looking at the scoreboard, and she can see that Ron is up a lot, but she now has a very realistic lifeline to scoring a ton of points if she's able to use all of her letters for a bingo there. So those letters look pretty good for her, but I don't believe she has a 7-letter word there. So the 2 letters on her rack that are the weakest for bingoing are probably the G and the O, and you can see she's getting ready and trying to find a good place to play those 2 letters, leaving herself that really nice combination of D-E-I-R-S. A lot of stuff that you can draw there. You have the ED, you have the ERS, you have the IER. That leave has so many suffixes involved that you are so likely to hit a 7-letter word with those nice letters. So it looks like Lindsay has that in mind. She plays off her O and her G, and she's drawn a bingo. The question is, will she see it? Will she see it? She has an archaic bingo. And honestly, she may inadvertently see it because let's just look. So you can see She has a bingo ending in ERS here of Witters. And the thing about it is that even if you don't know the word Witters, you may try it just because of that ERS. And look, Lindsay, let me just cut back to her screen. She's trying Widers right now. Oh, look, she's thought of it. Look at this. The second D goes on the board, and there's that green. She sees the green there. So we now know that Lindsay is aware of Witters that can potentially go down with yellows for huge points. And you can see with that Q and all these vowels, Rahn is in terrible position to do anything about it. And he exchanges tiles. He exchanges his tiles. Absolutely the right idea. But Lindsay is now going to play this huge bingo as fast as she can. And that is going to be a huge blow in her favor to make the comeback in this game. 102 points. 102 points for this play. Oh my gosh. And this really just shows you that on Scrabble Go, you really can experiment a little bit, right? You see, this isn't an everyday word, Witters. This isn't a word you're going to see all the time. But that ERS suffix, it's well worth trying and just to see, do I have a word with the rest of these letters? Experiment with it. And Lindsay did that, and she's getting 102 points here. Great play. And you can see after trailing in the early going, she is now up by, looks like 38 points on the strength of that massive bingo. So it's going to be back to Rahn as he has just now seen the play that Lindsay has made. But he can't get 2 down because he's got great letters of his own. I really expect Rahn to be able to find a bingo somewhere here. I bet he can. So there's definitely some obscure 7-letter words that should be playable on top of this lane that was created by Witters. So feel free, everybody, to shout out if you guys see any of those words, but I do fully expect that even though Rahn is probably a little bit shell-shocked that he just got bingoed on for over 100 points, he is going to retake the lead here. So that is my expectation anyway. So you can see Lindsay also has drawn 7 consonants. It's nice to see the X. That X should potentially score really well for her in this spot right here. But unfortunately, no vowels to go with it means you can't play underneath this E to get the points for the X in 2 different directions. Weekend Postcard says, Will, what would you play here? Geez, I mean, it's tricky. I think some of the things that I see here include obscure 7-letter bingos like Ignite or Hircine in this spot. So these aren't everyday words that you're likely to see. I think I would do my best to play something in this spot that doesn't put a dangerous letter in the triple lane, if there is something like that. So maybe I'm leaning towards Ignite just because that H is going to wind up scoring a lot of points there. I don't know. So yeah, this is a tricky situation. Rahn is having a good think here, and I think part of why, oh, look at that. I think he's decided that he's going to just play ICH. Maybe he is not seeing the bingos that were available there, and he plays just ick underneath the E of evenest, and that is going to give Lindsay a vowel to play through. She may end up playing just king for 18. Great point by Laura about playing the X here. I missed that as a spot, we'll go back to Rahn here, pause his clock until he gets Lindsay's move. So yeah, really, really good point that the X, Lindsay definitely has to be eyeing this spot right here for that X. If she's able to find a play, and you can see she now drew a vowel. So a play like Pox is going to go down here. If you want to play that extra consonant, Pox is going to score a ton of points for Lindsay. But in a minute, Rahn is going to get the news that Lindsay has played king. And I now definitely expect that Rahn will have some play that at least ends in ED right here. This is a good spot for a bingo. We'll see if he plays there. This has enough space to play a 7-letter bingo, and it would block that big X play for Lindsay. So this is kind of a big inflection point for Rahn. Where is he going to play a bingo with this rack? We're almost sure that in this situation, he's going to see a 7-letter play. But where is he going to play? I'm just trying to see. Is there even anywhere else that stands out as a good option for him? Yeah, okay. So you can see, sorry, it's back to Rahn. You can see he has that ED set up there. So really, really good question from Jeremy on Facebook. Is it better to play Ox or Pox there? That's a great question, and it's hard to say. I think it's really one of those coin flip type situations. The P of Pox would have made much easier access to a triple word score. So I think in general, I would not want to play the P there, even at a cost to the value of my leave. Okay. So Lindsay's X spot just got blocked by an 81-point bingo of Ermine there. So really, really nice play, and it must be just tantalizing for Lindsay because there's another big X spot right here. And you can see she is considering just playing top on this triple. And the reason for that, again, is if she's able to draw an X play at the upper part of the board, it's going to score incredibly well. All right, sorry, I forgot to change the clock there. So we'll run a couple seconds off of Lindsay's clock. It's back over to Rahn now. So Rahn has drawn the Q for the second time in this game. Haven't we all been there where you just seem to have the Q endlessly with no way of getting rid of it? If you exchange it, it finds its way back. And Rahn is going to just play Cot, a really, really good score there. And it leaves this spot open right here. So that's amazing. Just the tricky thing here, Lindsay absolutely has a good X play here. She can play Zax or Tax or Rax, any of those, but she can't quite reach all the way. And it looks actually like she's getting ready to play Czar up there, which is another really great choice. That is such a great idea by her to score 45 points, keep her X in hand. There actually are a couple of good spots available still for the X. For example, if she draws AE, the two most common vowels, she may end up being able to play something like Axel with her X in this spot for a really, really big score. So I love her choice to keep that X on her rack in the hopes of finding something better. So it's back over to Rahn now. Let me make sure that it's his turn. Okay, so he's now gotten that move in from Lindsay. The score 343 to 329. But look at Rahn's rack. Oh, man, he has his letters in really good shape here. And all he has to do is remember the hooks to this word, and you can see he does. He's remembered the A hook to lum for alum. If you've graduated your high school or college, that's what you are. And I have every expectation here that he'll play something like scalier and alum, and that's going to be a huge lead for him in the late game of this game. This is definitely looking good for Rahn. The only thing he has to worry about is after his play of scalier or perhaps another I'm not sure what other bingo. As you can see, he's looking at his tile tracking late in the game. That's going to be really helpful for both players as they look at their tiles to try to figure out what are those whammy tiles that are coming. And I know that Rahn sees this J and he sees this X and he's thinking about, well, how can I minimize the impact of those tiles? And he's probably realizing that this S right here is actually not that scary. It's kind of hard to hit the triple super hard with an S in this position right there. So you can see he plays his bingo, and that's going to give him a nice big lead, and Lindsay is in a bit of trouble here. There are 4 tiles left in the bag, and it's not very good for bingoing from here on out. There are no E's left to be drawn. The E, a really good bingo tile. All of the S's are on the board. Both of the blanks have been used. So not so good in terms of winning chances here for Lindsay. You really would want to get a big bingo somewhere here, and that's just not likely to be available for him. Hello to Transman and Pop Miri on Twitch. Nice to have you aboard. So, thank you also for the good vibes on Facebook. I'm trying to do my best to make these players really, really impressive thought process accessible to you no matter what your experience level as a player. You can see Lindsay doing the right thing there, scoring with her X on the triple. And the X is a great letter for scoring, not so good for bingoing, and she really, really needs to bingo with the deficit in this game so large here. So it's back over to Rahn, and he is correctly identifying this area of the board as the biggest threat, and looks like he's gonna play an obscure 5-letter word of Saju here. Great play to block off that last scary threat. And, well, it's not the last scary threat, but it's certainly the most threatening to him. A play to the triple would just be what Lindsay needs. Ron says he has to get his PC charger. So with this game wrapped up, he gets up. I think that's fine. He has this game well in hand as he gets his charger back here. So it really does look like it looks like Ron is right on the cusp of securing this win. Lindsay would need a bingo with these letters, and unfortunately, as you can see, her letters are not very good. She's got 2 A's, a B, a U, and moreover, there's just no space on the board for a bingo. There's a little bit of space. Maybe, if you can thread a bingo through this L, hitting this T in final position of an 8-letter word, those are not good options. So Lindsay just plays Ba. Action moves back to Ron, and the players are just going to go through the motions here as they finish this game, which will be a victory for Rahn McKeown over Lindsay Shin. That means Lindsay's going to have to win the next 2 games if she wants to repeat as community tournament champion. So we know that Lindsay was the winner of the 2nd community tournament, and I think I do believe that I saw one of our previous winners. Oh, there he is in the chat now, Richard Spence. Richard has won 2, the 1st and the 3rd community tournament, and they are a ton of fun. I definitely encourage folks to, when you see those ads, those adverts on our Facebook page, go out for another community tournament. Definitely encourage you to sign up, and maybe you will be the next participant in a finals here. So there you have it. The match is complete, and the first game is going to go to Ron. And let's see, that means we're going to give him a little check mark. And the standings, let's see. Ooh, okay. I forgot to put in my little standings thing, but that's okay. So we'll have the check marks there. And that was a great game between the players. And I think, unless you guys need a break, we can dive right into game 2 And actually, it's going to be, I think we need to wait for Ron's screen to pop up with that message that the game is over. And okay, so Lindsay playing Taunt as her last move. And we are going to start our second game as soon as Ron gets the prompt on his screen, as he will be going first in this game. So good luck to the players again in your second match, with Ron up 1-0 so far. All right. So, yes. Basically the check boxes are just my way of saying who won which match, and I would like to put up the total score if I get a chance, but I guess I'm whatever that design element isn't working right now. So it's 1-0. Hopefully the check marks make that clear. So okay, so Ron going first in this game. Oh, and look at this. He's drawn the first blank, and he's going to make that blank a J of all things, as he plays Joyride to open the game for 78 points. Tremendously impressive play for Ron. That is awesome. How often do you see a blank designated as a J? That is not very common at all. So a great start for Ron in this game too. And it is worth noting, though, that Joyride here does take a lot of hooks, including an R. Joyrider would be a really fun hook to see go down in that spot. So unfortunately, oh, and look at this. Let me just cut back to Lindsay. Sorry, she is playing. Oh man, you couldn't have asked for a better way to burn through this cue. She's going to play cough right here. This is one of these words where, if you've been watching any of my Facebook videos on how to use the cue and words that are really important to know in Scrabble, cough is a great one to know, as Lindsay plays that cue, which is normally so difficult, for 42 points. That's an amazing play by her right there. So let everybody take note of that word, a really helpful one to have in your arsenal as a Scrabble player. And you can see Lindsay's drawn into beanies on her rack. The question is she going to have a place to play it after Ron plays Govs right here? Oh man, that is a great play by Ron to get rid of some of his weaker letters, including the V, the U, the G. He had to use his S to do it, but he got 35 points on that play, and it also blocked the easiest spot for beanies to go down, pluralizing cough. So Lindsay is going to have to come up with a different spot to play this bingo. So that hurts. I think we've all been there as Scrabble players when you have the perfect place to play a word and unfortunately it gets blocked by your opponent. That is a very relatable Scrabble experience. I think we've all been there. Have you guys, do you guys agree? Isn't that we've all been in Lindsay's shoes here, haven't we? So yeah, that beanies, that word is not going to go down in the spot that she wanted. She's got to shrug it off and do her best to find a different play. Of those letters that she has on her rack, A, B, 2 E's, I, N, S, the B definitely jumps out as the letter that is sort of suboptimal to use for bingos. All of those 1-point letters are a little easier to use, and it looks like she's going to play jibe for 11. I think I would favor this play a little bit more if that J of Joyride was a real J. So it's giving you those extra points. And I think Lindsay is realizing that. She's realizing that, and she's moving over to the G, which is, I mean, even though normally you for sure would take the extra points of the J compared to the G, remember, this is a blank. It's worth 0. So I think it makes a lot of sense for her to play from this G instead. Denise says Joyride was so impressive, and it really was. I totally agree. the most impressive thing about it was the speed with which Rahn found it. He had that word picked out almost instantaneously. As soon as he saw those letters, the play of Joyride occurred to him, and that is just really, really impressive skills on his part. Okay, so Lindsay does play off her B on top of Joyride. I like that play for her. Rahn has kind of a tricky, he has a tricky set of letters here. He's got 2 A's, 2 C's. The CH combination, so powerful, both for scoring and bingoing, but there isn't an obvious place for him to do that here, right? There's no great triple word scores open. They're all kind of inaccessible to him. These letters of govs aren't, they're unlikely to result in really powerful of a score, but that's okay. Again, Rahn is the one who is now out to an early lead in this game, so he can sort of focus more on blocking the board if he wants. And it looks like he's experimenting here with a word that, wow, this is really close to a valid 7-letter bingo, but it's not quite there for him, and he's going to continue to experiment, which that makes all the sense in the world for him to, if he thinks he's close to a bingo that he remembers from this rack, why not put it onto the board and see what you can come up with. So ultimately, I don't believe he has a 7-letter bingo here, and he's going to have to go a different direction with his play. And meanwhile, Lindsay is sitting on a nice bingo of tennies, like tennis shoes, and that will play right here if Rahn doesn't block it with pet at a minimum. So yeah, Rahn continuing to experiment. He definitely wants to use up as many of these high-scoring letters as he can. So totally makes sense. Felly says, gotta use those 2 C's together. Certainly, if he can find a play that uses the 2 C's together, he would love to do that. That's part of the problem sometimes with duplicated letters on your rack. It can be very difficult to use both of them at once. So for sure, he is going to think about that. Can Rahn hear me and see her tiles as well? Nope, neither player can hear me. I just confirmed. I'm looking on Zoom that I am muted on our Zoom call. Both of the players are also muted. And because both players are screen sharing their screens to me, neither of them can see the screen of the other. So it's quite the setup here that we have behind the curtain to bring this game action to you guys. Fanny on Twitch said, great opening plays by both players. They both have the heart of a champion. That is true. These are great Scrabble players. Honestly, Rahn may be one of the Scrabble players I have known for the longest. I actually knew him for years as he plays Ache there. Nice overlapping play to get extra points from Oda and Peck for him. So he's able to use one of his 2 C's. And whoops, sorry about that. And Lindsay is poised now to bingo here and cut that score gap quite a bit. So we've seen this a lot from Lindsay, where she definitely has really strong command of bingos, and she understands which letters are going to maximize her chances of getting those bingos down. So tennies looks like it's going to be the play for her. And that'll be 66 points that bring her much closer to even with Rahn once she commits this play. Let's see. Is she... Oh, she's considering changing her play to intense for a few more points, an anagram of the word that she was going to play, and that scores a little bit better. The thing to worry about with her play of intense is that the E in the triple lane is a very, very good letter for Rahn to use. And actually, in this particular situation for Rahn, look at all of those consonants on Rahn's rack. You can see now with that E, that's just what he needed to be able to burn through a lot of consonants and play something to the triple word score. So Lindsay making a calculated choice to give a slightly better letter in the triple lane in a slightly more open way, perhaps realizing that after Rahn's next move, she's still going to be down a fair number of points. She may have an interest in creating a board that has more openings, right? So after Intense, you have another bingo lane here. You have action through some of these really good letters that are completely open in the triple lane. But she probably knows that and realizes that's what I need. I need that openness because Rahn's going to get a good number of points on his next turn. I'm still going to be down when it's my next turn, Lindsay's thinking here. So let's see what Rahn opts to do. It looks like, it's over to him. You can see he's thinking about playing K-Blit, and that really looks like a very strong play to me. Again, Rahn with 6 consonants and only 1 vowel. He's able to use 4 of those consonants in one move and score quite well on the triple while he's at it. So that looks really good for him. We like that play. And he maintains his lead, just as I was saying. It's 169 to 131. So Lindsay is probably happy right now that she made a play that gives her more potential of bingoing a second time and completing her comeback in this game. So Rahn up 1-0. Lindsay needing to win this one to prolong the match further. And as Robert says, the Z has entered the game. And sure enough, a nice play. Zoom for 41 is the play that Lindsay has selected, and she has committed that play. So really, really nice. That is the power of the Z. It scores so well. We're going to see it pop up on Ron's screen momentarily. And again, Ron does not have an A. And an A is really, really good in this situation to play something parallel to Zoom and score a lot of points. If you can reach this double word score here with a 4-letter word, including an A right here, it's going to score really well. And you can see on Lindsay's rack, she has an A. She can play something like wait on her next turn in this spot, and it's going to score huge. So really close game right now. Lindsay up by 3 points, and Ron playing Weepy. Very, very nice play for a solid score of 31. Oop, I forgot to start his clock, which will run a few seconds off before we go back to Lindsay. So that's a great play by Ron. He uses his W, his P, his Y, good scoring letters, all on a double word score. The W getting extra points as well. And look at this. You can see the play that I suggested. Oh, let's see. It looks like she's considering playing want instead of wait. That might be purposeful if she wants to keep her I along with her X. Okay, so she is going ahead and playing that I. I think I like that play a little bit better, just to keep 2 consonants as opposed to 2 vowels. And keep in mind that X, again, we saw it in the first game. Lindsay, very, very patient. Very, very patient with that X. She has a great place if she's able to draw an O to play well, and she frankly could play her X up there with Zach's as well. So anyway, this is a super close game, back and forth. Lindsay has scored 40 or more points on consecutive turns to fight her way back into the game here. So really, really nice job. It's going to be back to Ron now. And we will start his clock. Hopefully I'm on top of all of this. So, wow, super close. Ron has still more high-scoring letters. He just used up, again, on his previous turn, the W, the P, the Y, but now he has the K and the F as well. So with those letters, you definitely want to think for a moment to yourself, well, do I have a word that ends in LY? Do I have a word somewhere else on the board? But ultimately, he's very unlikely to have a bingo, and he realizes that, and he plays weak to the triple for 33 points. A nice idea for him. So back to Lindsay, and she has that X. So she can plop her X down in that spot where she just put her X right there, and it would score 28 points by itself. It is tempting to keep the X and try to hit this spot for even more points. Again, you have to draw an O to get under there. And this is where that tile tracking is important. Or you can just look at the board and say, all right, here are the O's that have been played. What are my chances of drawing an O? They're actually not that great, with 4 out of the 8 O's played already in the game. So she may, and there it is. She's looking at that tracking exactly as I thought she would. Let me start her clock here. And she's thinking to herself, well, what are my chances of actually drawing the O that I need? And she's probably thinking to herself, maybe not, maybe not. Maybe the chances aren't that good, and I'm just going to use my X in this spot. So we'll see what she does. I fully expect her to play her X or play off as many other tiles as she can to try to draw the O. One of those two pathways feels like it would make sense. Oh, this is a cool idea. I didn't see this. A really nice play through Za. This is a cool idea. It scores 38 points if she goes with that play. She's thinking about it. Yeah, you can see, look, she's thinking about just playing that X. Oh, this would be cool. So this is kind of, this is like an in-between play. I like this idea. She plays unbox, and maybe you're saying to yourself, why did she do that if she could have played her X by itself for more points? And the answer to that question is getting rid of the U as well on that move is worth a lot to her. Lindsay is so good at finding those bingos, and the U is really in sort of a, it impedes you from playing those bingos. So sacrificing some points to use the U does make sense, as we see Rahn quickly responding with Unfold. That's a nice idea. And it goes back to Lindsay. So Unfold was really clever, just because Rahn now kind of has a solid lead in this game. This spot was one of the best spots available to play a bingo on this board, and he's both scored 27 and blocked that bingo line in one move, which makes a lot of sense. So Lindsay with 3 A's, she quickly plays Java for 23, getting some extra points for that X. We're going to see Rahn get that move coming in shortly. So players playing quickly here, and when all is said and done, it's still incredibly close. 263 to 260. Eric says the eyes of death. Oh my gosh, the 3 eyes on the rack for Rahn is definitely going to slow him down. That is another extremely relatable thing that can happen to you as a Scrabble player, drawing those eyes and having no great place for them. Oh, but he's come up with a great solution here. He's going to be able to use 2 of his eyes in one move and score decently. Ginny, nice play by Rahn. Really, really like that play. That gets rid of 2 of his 3 eyes in one go. The J in the triple lane is actually not that scary for him, because it's obviously, ending a word with a J here is almost impossible. Great play by Rahn to work his way out of his eye trouble, using 2 in one go along with the J. Meanwhile, Lindsay has kind of, rack problems of her own. 2 O's, 2 R's, and not a lot of space, frankly, to play bingos with these nice bingo letters that she has. So she has an issue here where she can't score very much. She is pretty close on the scoreboard, though. She doesn't have to panic. It would be great if she could work towards another bingo, but maybe she can still outscore her way back into this game. It's one of those in-between positions where it's really not clear what the best path forward is. I would say that this spot right here is very difficult for Lindsay to hit on this turn. And if she's not able to play something here, the odds are good that Rahn will. and that's easily the best scoring spot available. So what that says to me is I would be worried that I can't really outscore Rahn if he has free access to this triple. If I don't have a good way of playing there myself. So if I'm Lindsay, maybe I'm thinking it's a little more urgent that I try to create some space for a bingo, and it looks like she's doing just that with a nice play of Rioja. I just said how difficult that J was going to be to use, but she was able to make a play that put this R out in open space and gives her another threat for bingoing. Fanny on Twitch says, is flunky not good? Yes, it is good, but it's spelt with I-E and E-Y spellings. So no double E spelling that you've listed there. Sorry for my slow response there, by the way. But very good question. So, yeah. Richard says, now Lindsay wishes he had her A's and V's for Swaraj. Yeah, Swaraj. That is one of the very, very few J words that would actually reach that triple. So there's only maybe one or two in the entire dictionary. So not a major threat when Rahn played Ginny. He's mostly gonna be safe there. Rahn getting ready to play Teed underneath Unfold. That looks pretty good. It scores well. It doesn't open very much. Very, very difficult to fit a 7-letter play underneath with all the overlaps needing to be so specific there. So I think this is a pretty safe way for Rahn to use 2 of his 3 E's and score well in the process, and that is what he ends up doing. And look at that draw for Rahn. You can see he just left a leave of EIR or something like that, and he drew the second blank, and that could be the game-sealing draw for him, as he for sure is going to have bingos up here from this R if Lindsay does not block it, which she really has no reason to do. And he may even have bingos that fit underneath Teed with a ton of overlaps. Nice play. Okay, so in the spot where Lindsay had considered playing Azans earlier in the game, I think Izars is an even better idea for her here, just because you get a bunch of extra points using that S, and you open another scary spot that Rahn will have to worry about. So 38 points, that's going to bring her nearly even, or perhaps slightly ahead. But Rahn is sitting on a pretty monster rack here that could be, depending on Lindsay's draw, it could be a bad situation for her. And looks like, she's drawn kind of poorly. Another R finds its way onto Lindsay's rack. No E's and O. So I don't think Lindsay is going to have a bingo in response to Rahn's very, very likely bingo that he's going to play on his turn. So the only question is, where is he going to play? I see retainer being shouted out by Jeremy in the chat. Nice to see you, by the way, Jeremy. There's definitely other stuff. I'm sure there is no shortage of 7-letter words on this rack, and Rahn has plenty of time to think it over if he wants to try to find a play that fits under here. But it looks like instead he's going to turn his blank into an S and play something at the top of the board. That is going to be tough to overcome here. A 72-point bingo, and there it goes. It's committed. So that second blank is, you could see Lindsay kind of wince as she sees the realization that Rahn has gotten that decisive bingo down just a bit before she was able to get her tiles in shape to bingo herself. So really valiant effort by Lindsay to continue to open more space and just try to draw that blank herself. Rahn beats her to the punch, and he is looking like he is on the cusp of victory here in the community tournament finals. So can't give up, though. If you're Lindsay, you can't give up. As you can see, Rahn is looking at the tracking. Back over to Lindsay now. She has to try to come up with a way to steal this game away. How can she do that? It's not going to be easy. There's 4 tiles in the bag. She definitely needs to bingo here. So whatever Lindsay does, she can't play more than 4 tiles. She needs to give herself some kind of outside chance of drawing a 7-letter bingo to end the game on her next turn. And ideally, if she can come up with a play that opens more space, right? Like, what are her spots on the board? She's considering just playing org. That's a reasonable choice. She has 2 R's, the G and the O. Again, not as good bingo tiles as the rest of her letters, but I'm just wondering if there's any way for her to do something that opens more space here, just because her only realistic threat is this R of Rioja. So if she doesn't create a new threat, Rahn is very, very likely to simply block this spot and be able to win the game, knowing that Lindsay has no other spot where a bingo will play. So I'm imagining maybe she can play something like rag or something here and try to draw that last S, maybe draw into a play that plays alongside here. Oh, okay. You know what? That's even better. So Lindsay's play is even better. She can play org, and if she draws that last S, maybe she can draw a pair of bingos, one which would play here and one which would play here, and you can't block both if you're Rahn. That's as good a plan as I can see. It's not very likely to work, but when you're in these situations, finding something that's not very likely to work is better than finding a play that will never work, right? You have to hold out hope that you get one of those miraculous draws that can steal the game for you. Okay, so Lindsay's trying a few different ideas. Now she has rag, which is kind of a variation of the play that I had suggested here. Playing rag there may actually be better. It might be easier to fit a 7-letter word underneath there. Again, you really do need to draw the S for almost any of these plans to work. And Rahn has that S. So maybe, just maybe, maybe Rahn will realize that he doesn't have to block this part of the board. Oh man, look at that. So good bingo tiles come down for Lindsay. Unfortunately, she has a 7-letter word on her rack, but I'm not sure it fits anywhere. So let's just see what Rahn does. We'll switch it back over to Rahn's turn. So 1 tile in the bag. Rahn sitting on that last S. Let's just wait till he actually gets the play before we start his clock. Yeah, Felly, I know. We have that omniscience here. We see what both players have. The players have to do their best to consider what is the best possible scenario that can happen to me, and will that allow me to win the game? So from Lindsay's scenario, she's probably thinking to herself, the best thing that can happen to me is I draw that last S and I get bingos that play in multiple places. So unfortunately, we know that Rahn, we have that knowledge that Rahn has the S, but that's her plan. That's her thinking when she makes a play like org. So yeah, this is a really interesting point that Richard has just made. Rahn has to be really careful here. So Lindsay has a bingo of radiali. I think that's actually a plural of radialis, which I think is a type of, which is a bone maybe somewhere. Either way, you can see Lindsay has that word spelled out on her rack. It doesn't play anywhere, but if Rahn decides to block this G of org by playing something like flouts or something like this, which looks really good, right? A play like flouts at the bottom part of the board looks great. It does give up a bingo in response, which, would that be enough points? I don't know. Rahn is up by a ton. He's up by 55 points. Flouts would score 5, 6. Oh, man. Oh, we might be about to find out. Oh, man. We may be about to find out. Oh, he's considering playing FLOTUS, which would be First Lady of the U.S. Okay, 55 points, 35 for this. It's going to be up 90. The bingo, which Lindsay, you see, she has it spelled out on her rack. She's going to need to make up a 90-point deficit. So it's going to score, let's see, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Oh, man, it depends on what the last letter is, I think. Oh, no, it doesn't. I think it's too far. I think the lead is too much. 90 points. Oh, man, this is going to be a heartbreaking ending. So, Lindsay, the bag is now empty. There's no point in waiting. Playing this bingo is what she has to do. It's going to score 75. She's down by 90. She's going to get 10 points from Rahn's rack, or 5 added to her score and 5 subtracted from Rahn. And I believe when all is said and done, she's going to lose by 5 points. And I think she's doing the math. Look at her body language. Look, you see she just winced. I think she knows that this is going to lead to a 5-point loss when all is said and done. Wow. Obviously, once she has calculated that, she's going to say to herself, well, do I somehow have some other play, some other bingo that scores more than 75 points here? And she correctly ascertains that she doesn't. And this is going to give Rahn a little bit of it's going to give him a little bit of a shock when he sees this. Let's cut to his screen as we see this bingo is going to pop up momentarily. And let's just see if his eyebrows raise at all, or if he knows that this is going to happen. But you can see on Lindsay's screen that it is a 5-point win for Rahn. So let's just see what happens. The move is not yet. It looks like a little lag on his screen. So let's see. I just want to see what happens when that word comes down for him. So you can see he's still waiting. Eventually it's going to pop up, and he will eventually get the good news that it is just short. Okay, here it is. Oh, yeah, he raises his hands. He must know that this play is not enough points, and he is still going to win the game. So I'm going to unmute myself on Zoom, and wow, that was a really, really exciting final game. And I'm sure, from our perspective watching, it seemed like that last bingo might barely be enough, but Rahn scored enough points with flouts to stay ahead, even after that nice ending bingo here. So let me just see if I can unmute you guys, or I can now let you guys unmute yourselves. All right. Great games, guys. And obviously, Rahn, congratulations. You are the winner of this match, 2-0. So, yeah, that was a treat to watch, obviously. Where to start? In game 1, it just seemed like totally back and forth in both directions. Even though Lindsay got the first bingo down, Rahn had some good scoring plays and just managed to stay ahead. Rahn had said, what did I miss on the yellow turn? And frankly, I don't think you missed anything any better than that. That seemed like a very reasonable play. But Lindsay, what was your reaction when you saw that Rahn had exchanged tiles after your next play after that? And what was your thought process with that rack of the 2Ds, the W? Tell us about that.
Void challenge option in this game. And I tried it and it was green. So I kind of apologize.
No need. I did that to your husband earlier.
Yeah.
That's part of the game. Experimentation, right? If you
For
have
sure.
that ERS suffix, why not put it onto the board and experiment a little bit? You got that 100-point bingo, but Rahn held his nerve, was able to get that nice bingo down with alum that kind of sealed the game there. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, really cool. This game also, that first blank, Ron, you saw
Joy-
Joyride basically instantaneously. I mean, talk to us about, that just must have appeared to you super fast, but a J as the blank, you don't see that every day.
I know it did. It just jumped out, and then the Y hits where it needs to hit. Everything kind of falls the right way, so I stopped looking. And it's kind of a fun word, so I figure why not just get it on the
So
board and
fun.
keep going.
Very cool.
It's super fun. I don't even know if there was any other word in there. Maybe there was, but like that could have been one of those crazy racks where the only word that you have to bingo is with a J. That was just a great play. You played it so fast too. So that was great. Lindsay obviously responding with that Q play. That's just what the doctor ordered with that rack, to play cough for so many points. Lindsay, talk to us. You put tennies on the board and then picked it up to play intense. I thought that was a pretty clever play, just knowing that you were still likely to be trailing after Ron's next play. What was your sort of thought process on the positioning there?
Yeah, I guess I was a little scared of him putting an X under the ache. And I guess I knew it was possible I could get the X, but it was a little more blocking.
That's right.
That.
Yes.
But obviously opened up the triple lane, which is nerve-wracking, but 4 points and I don't know.
Totally. So Lindsay is talking about this spot right here before intense hit the board. There was a really big X spot there, the triple letter score. So in order to avoid leaving that spot available, intense was the play. I liked it. I thought it was clever just because even though the score was going to be even at that point, you were still going to be facing a deficit after Ron's next play. So leaving things open, I thought, did benefit you there. But ultimately, just really clever ideas to create space for yourself with Izars and Rioja. Also, a tough break in the early going. Ron playing Govs and Coughs. Really nice play, Ron.
Yeah.
To score a bunch of points, but in case you weren't aware, which why would you be? It blocked beanies, so a natural 7-letter bingo on Lindsay's rack. So that it feels like one of those cases of you made the right play and you even got more benefit from it than you realized.
I actually did. It would have blocked it as well, but I actually did consider Vugs with the H and Joyrides just to really kind of close the board horribly.
So yeah, same letters. Yeah, would go.
Yeah,
down.
but I went open. I decided to go open, a little more open anyway.
Sure.
Makes sense. Let me just while we're here.
Lindsay blocked Cochlea with her BA play, and then that ache play. I also feel like you got some advice from me on that play. I think that was a bit of a mistake.
I couldn't find anything much better than that. I think it was nice to use one of your C's, one of your 2 A's, and to score pretty well while you're at it. I didn't see anything much better. There aren't any great scoring spots available. I kind of like that play. I mean, I know you. I think I'm totally with you where that doesn't feel like it could be the best play there, but I think it had a pretty good chance of being good. So you guys really did play well.
Could you see when I put fake words down? I'm just curious.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Man.
The audience loves watching you experiment and play those words. So anyway, really great games to watch. Commiserations, Lindsay. Though, of course, just to remind the audience, Lindsay Shin was our winner of the second community tournament finals match that we had, and this was a great match to watch. So any final thoughts from you guys? Lindsay first before we sign off for the day here.
No, I mean, I guess I was grateful you let me at least play my last bingo, even if it wasn't enough. It just felt good.
Yeah, it was funny. I counted it out. I was like, I think I still win if you have it, and it's stressful to try to figure out a different play. So let me just outrun. But I think honestly, the 2 games, and then people watching probably figured this out too. It's just I'm honestly drawing the blank in that spot is especially with the previous plays that had happened on Lindsay's side was a very big surprise, and very lucky. And then the first game, Scalier drawing a bingo straight out of the bag to a ridiculously bad tile pool again. Just completely lucky. So Lindsay,
well played, Ron. Well played.
You did really, really well. I was definitely sweating in this one.
Well, very humble, Ron, but you played great. It was a pleasure to watch both of you guys. Lindsay, just real quick, feel free to, if you want to, there's an event coming up in January, Lindsay, that
Yeah.
you are involved in.
Yes, we are hosting the 10th annual Crescent City Cup, Martin Luther King weekend in the middle of January. Obviously, due to COVID last year, we did it all online, and this year we're happy to bring it back in person. It will be a fully vaccinated event, so we're going to keep everything as safe as possible. I think it's in downtown New Orleans. On Poydras, it's a really good location. You can get to the French Quarter, to good food, lots of fun, and hopefully, anyone coming from the north will get some hopefully really good weather, a little bit warmer anyway. But we really look forward. We miss playing Scrabble in person, so we hope that anyone who's able to come. We're just really looking forward to seeing people again. And have a search on Facebook for the 10th annual Crescent City Cup, and you'll be able to find the event. And we're happy to, just email us, and we're happy to help answer any questions or help with registration or anything that you need. So, Ron, I know you've been to New Orleans before. Come on down.
Yeah, awesome. Michelle is across the table from me saying, "Are we going to that?" So it should be good.
Yeah, it's always a treat. I've been a number of years. It's one of the best, the biggest, baddest over-the-board Scrabble tournaments. If you're watching along and saying, well, I've never competed over the board before, it is a lot of fun. It's one of the best decisions that I've ever made. In fact, I should just add a quick shout out to Ron for being one of the inspirations for me ever trying over-the-board Scrabble. The two of us played Boggle, the cousin of Scrabble, for many, many years prior to ever playing Scrabble competitively, and Ron's taking that plunge first was a big reason that I'm even playing Scrabble at all. So thanks, Ron, for that.
Biggest mistake I've ever made. Every game I introduced Will to, he eclipsed me within a few weeks, I think, of playing. So.
Well, you are the winner here today. We don't have to think about that for now. Thank you guys both for competing. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks to everyone on Twitch and YouTube for watching along. So I think what we'll do for now is say goodbye to our players, and thanks again. Congrats, Ron. Commiserations to Lindsay. Appreciate you guys putting forth such a great exhibition. Yeah, so that's going to be it. So thank you guys very much for watching. One more quick plug. Thanks to those on Twitch once again. There's going to be lots more Scrabble content coming your way on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/playscrabble. Really looking forward to being a part of this channel. So if you like this type of content, you'll definitely get more of it coming your way on Facebook, but for sure on Twitch. This is a great place for you to follow to get more Scrabble content coming your way. So with that, appreciate everybody watching. That's going to do it for our 4th community tournament live streamed finals. Congrats to Rahn McKeown on his victory. Lindsay Shin, our 2nd finalist. And thanks a lot for coming aboard. See you guys soon.